Alabama QB Jalen Milroe has seen his draft stock skyrocket this offseason, and he's drawing comparisons to two-time MVP Lamar Jackson.
I'm not someone to try to be a savior. I'm someone to just trying to better a program as a whole.
How's it going today, POV fam? Welcome back to Point of View. As always, we appreciate your feedback and comments like this one. Now to today's topic. Has Jalen Milroe been wildly underrated throughout this whole pre-draft process? At this point, it's getting real hard to argue against that, considering all the evidence that's building up. The latest headline was made at his Alabama Pro Day, where he clocked a 4.37 40-yard dash, which just narrowly missed Michael Vick's record by a quarterback at 4.33 seconds. Now, there is some skepticism about the accuracy of that time, but nevertheless, he showed truly elite speed that has proven to be incredibly effective in the NFL by guys like Vick and Jackson. And Alabama head coach Coach DeBoer even spoke on the similarities between Milroe and Jackson, saying, quote, "I think that's the style of play that would be a great fit for him for sure. And there's a lot of things you can do, as we've seen with Lamar, at that level that you can win a lot of football games." End quote. That says a lot to compare those two in any way, and it speaks to the hype he's currently receiving, but let's back it up a bit, because I think there should have been a little more hype even before all of Milroe's offseason events. We can't forget that even through all the disappointments that we've seen from Alabama football the past couple of years, Milroe has shown a whole lot more good than bad. Over the past 2 seasons, he's completed 65% of his attempts and racked up over 5,600 yards with 39 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. Maybe he came up short in some important moments here and there, but overall, he was one of the best QBs in the country for multiple years. And not only is he one of the most athletic and skilled QB prospects in this class, but he proved he's the biggest team guy you'll find. As you're probably familiar, the Crimson Tide flamed out this past season and narrowly missed a playoff berth with a 9-3 record. And on a team filled with NFL talent, you'd expect a majority of draft prospects to pass up on a meaningless bowl game to prepare for April. But Milroe led the charge in avoiding that mindset and honoring his commitment to the team. Here's what he had to say about his message to head coach Coach DeBoer when making his decision to stay for one more game.
You know, I started the season out against West Kentucky together. We're going to finish the season together. And that was just the emphasis that I told him, is that we're going to finish the season on a bang. You know, we're going to come together as a group, try to have the best game plan we can be so we can be the best version of ourselves. And so that's just the thought process, just all about finish.
I mean, how often do you hear that from the starting quarterback on one of the best college football programs in the country? He proved he's got a rare mindset that I think gives him a leg up on all of his competition at the next level. Now, I'm not saying he's better than Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders or even Jackson Dart, but I don't think he's destined to be a lifelong backup in the NFL. He's shown enough signs to believe he can be a whole lot more. Before we get more into those signs, I just want to remind you that we drop POV episodes featuring the most interesting perspective on the sports world, mine, 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm talking the stories you won't get anywhere else, so remember to join the discussion by dropping a comment and hitting that subscribe button right now. And ring the notification bell so you're always in the know. Now back to Milroe. We already talked about his blazing 40-yard dash time, but he also apparently has superhuman powers because his hand size grew by 5/8 of an inch between the Senior Bowl and the NFL Combine. I'm obviously joking about the superpowers, but I'm not joking about the importance of hand size because it absolutely matters to pro scouts, as we've seen with countless QBs, most notably Josh Allen and his monster mitts. So when you add up Milroe's college accolades and his measurables, you can clearly see the blueprint for a successful pro. But advanced stats further push that narrative. According to Pro Football Focus, Milroe posted the best passing grade in the nation on throws beyond 40 yards this past season. So for all his perceived faults, he's elite in enough areas that he's not only worth taking a chance on, but worth giving a real shot to in the near future. Now, I do think he'd benefit greatly from sitting a year or two in the NFL to fix some of his flaws, but you don't find guys with his skill set all too often, and he shouldn't be taken for granted. So if your team drafts him on day 2, don't think of it as some wasted pick or a shot in the dark. He's gonna prove he's the real deal in due time, and maybe even find himself leading a perennial playoff team just like Lamar Jackson. But hey, you also might be a fan of a team that just doesn't have time to wait a couple years for your future face of the franchise to develop. In that case, I'd suggest checking out Ole Miss QB Jackson Dart. For more on his NFL prospects, check out this past episode of Point of View. And the moment you're waiting for, here's the answer to today's trivia question. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's 5:09 p.m.